used to say it's like living in it's like after such a a suicidal loss, it's like, or any type of tragic loss, it's like you're hit by a tsunami, and the tsunami hits you, and then finally when everything gets pulled back, the water recedes, all there is debris and disaster, and just it's muck, and then you got to work your way out of it, and it takes time, and then it's like then the water comes back and you just feel like you're drowning all the time, and then it's like, oh, then you start doggy paddling, and it's like, oh, I get my head's above water, and then you get hit by another one, and now it's like breaststroking, and every once in a while you get hit by a wave, but it just it just gets better and better, and it's like, okay, and then but every once those waves come, but not as horrifically as they were before.
Hey, everybody. I am delighted to have my friend Jackie Baker here. Hi, Jackie.
Hello, Jen. Nice to see you again.
Jackie's been on two other of my episodes before. We talked once about her son's death by suicide on one of them, and then we had another one where we talked about adoption and her story with adoption. And so this time, which she has a book out, we're so excited about that. Um, her book is called Messy Mourning, Mourning. Hope for Mothers Grieving the Loss of a Child by Suicide. So after losing her son to suicide, Jackie began writing what she wished she had in the earliest days, words that make room for grief without rushing it, and faith that can hold honest questions. She's also a pediatric nurse practitioner and writes about grief, faith, motherhood, identity, and healing. So there we go. Just like you had just got it all. Got the whole.
You name it, I talk about it, right?
Oh, it's pretty exciting that you just published your book. And, when I first met you, you were just talking about writing it.
hmm
And
And I'm one of the first, I know someone told me like 5% of people that say they're going to write a book. And I'm like, okay, I did that.
I know, I know. Isn't it great?
It is.
It is an accomplishment, there's so much to it. I don't think
It
everybody
is
really
hard
understands.
work. Yes. It's because it's a lot of alone time, a lot of discipline. There's no one telling you you're working 8 to 5. You have to schedule your writing time and, your editing time and all your other time. But yes, it's a lot of work, but a lot of fun. It's so different from being a nurse practitioner. So I learned a lot of different things. Yeah.
You could write another book just on nurse practitioner stories.
Yes. Oh, I have a lot.
Right? Yeah.
Mhm.
It's also, and part of it is painful because you have to dredge up your own story from the past. And
Mhm.
when you're doing a memoir, I mean, in a sense, it's got some memoir in it, because of
Mhm.
your story. But let's start with that. Tell us about your story.
So my story started, I said, in 2017 when my son died by suicide. He'd been struggling with mental health issues, um, probably like 4 or 5 years beforehand. And we did the best we could in and out of treatment, psychiatric hospitals, and just made some poor choices. And at the end, I think I always said his brain just couldn't help. His brain was like his worst enemy. And so in 2017, in September, we got a knock on the door, and it was the police telling us that Sebastian had died. And that started this journey that has finally led to this book. But over the last, and now it's coming on 9 years this year. And so since that time, I've learned a lot about grief. I've learned a lot about there's different types of grief. Grief it's not linear. It's not one size fits all. And I mean, in the past I've lost my mother, I've lost my brother, I've lost, grandparents and friends, but there was something different about losing a child and then losing a child to suicide. And there wasn't any manual out there on how to do that. And so that's why I started writing things that I wish people would have told me, or maybe they did tell me, and I've written that as well, and put those things like what worked, what didn't work, what I found helpful. And so I wanted it to put it in a place like as a handbook or a guide for other moms, that unfortunately are going to be in a similar situation as myself.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, so much. And as you think through all of those types of things, it is different.
Hmm.
I mean, it is way different than just losing a family member.
Right. And I was comparing, it's like if somebody lost a child to cancer, one, you usually know it's coming and everybody is gathering around the child and what a brave person they are. They fought the good fight, right? And then there's something about when they pass away, they've done well. This like they fought that journey. And then if I found if somebody died by, a car accident, because that happens a lot with young people, it was like, oh, a tragic life lost. And that's, wow, he was young. And then I found with suicide, people are like, oh, you know, it's silence because
Yeah,
it's like, what do you say to something? And I found people didn't know what to say, and
right.
I didn't know how to respond. Yeah.
Well, because there's been a stigma about it, you know.
Yes.
It's like whose fault was that?
Right.
You
We
know,
heard
part
that.
of
Yeah.
that is whose fault was it? Was it your fault? You know, maybe
Mm-hmm.
you didn't raise him right, or you didn't do the right thing, or something,
Mm-hmm.
or why couldn't you stop him, or why couldn't, like there was
Right.
some way that that could have been prevented.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. We went through all that. It's funny because my husband and I we talked about that. There's in my chapter, one of the chapters, it's called the laments of the if onlys. And, if only I had done this. If my husband was like, was I too hard on him? Was I not hard enough? Did I not say the right things? Did I, you want, if only I had let him come home. If only I had, and I found you just can't go there because one, you can't change the outcome has already happened. And so you can just spin and spin and spin. And I've learned you have to let go of the what ifs,
Mm.
and because it's just not helpful at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what are
Mhm.
things that you wish people had said to you?
I think it's funny, my girlfriend and I, who had lost a child and a husband in an accident, we would say, we're going to write a book about stupid things people tell you that you wish they wouldn't have
Right?
said, and what I have found is pr- being present with me is so helpful and not saying anything. Sometimes just being there is enough. And just at that time, allowing me to talk or not talk. I think mostly, I just wanted to talk about Sebastian, you
Yeah.
know, and, and say, because he's more than just a statistic. He's more than just what he did.
Right.
And so I think that was one of the things that I wish people would allow us to say because no one wants to bring him up. A
Hmm.
lot of people didn't want to, because they were afraid they were going to hurt me. They were afraid, and I'm like, yeah, it is going to hurt, but it's okay, you know. So I think that was one of the big things. Yeah, it was, I wish, and then people, yeah, don't have to say anything because I feel like they have to say something. And I think saying, I don't know what to say is probably like the best thing you can say, or I'm praying for you. And then please pray. I think that's the big thing, because you need
Right.
so much prayer during this time. But yeah, because I remember once, someone mentioned to me, oh, the divorce rate's really high for children, parents that die by suicide. And it was really recent. And I was just thinking, why are you saying that to me? And it's a well-meaning friend who probably didn't know what to say, but that came out. And I was just like, oh, thank you, And so I wrote a chapter about why suicide does not have to be the end of a marriage for a couple too, because the statistics are no different than any other, type of loss or trauma. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I remember when my husband had his brain tumor and they're just saying, well, you're just not praying hard enough.
oh yes.
Like, oh,
Hmm.
really? So how does that work? How does
Hmm.
that work? We're pulling the puppet strings or we're doing what,
Right. Because
you
we're
know,
not God. Yeah.
is there some trick to the way I'm saying my prayers or is there,
Hmm.
it's like,
Some mantra, formula. There isn't any. No. Yeah.
no, absolutely.
And and it's like Job. Job never knew why. We know because we've got the scripture. But Job never knew why he went through the suffering he went through. And he had to be content with God saying, I'm God, you're not. Did you create this? Did you make this? Like, no, no. And that's actually really fun. I was like, oh yeah, yeah. I don't know why, and I probably will never know this side of heaven. And they're like, okay, but you're in control. You're God. I'm not. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it is that easy.
You know,
It's just
granted,
hard.
no,
Mhm.
it's not something that happens overnight.
Yeah.
It's a process. Grieving is
Hmm.
a process. It takes you through so many layers of things that I mean, just
Hmm.
the normal things, you know, being
Yeah.
angry or being mad or being, you know, the what ifs or the whys or the,
Hmm.
you know, the sorrow or
The
even
anger. Yeah.
or resentment or
All that. Oh,
all of it, you
yes. And you have to go through it. You can't avoid it.
know.
And that's one thing I learned is like you just have to walk through. That's why they when talk about the walking through the valley of the shadow of death, it's like, but I will fear no evil because you know your rod and your staff they carry you, and you're just like, okay. I used to tell people I'm in this dark tunnel. I know Jesus is with me. I can't see him in the tunnel, but he told me he was there, and I just have to cling to what I know is true. And even if you can't see it, and that's what kept me going. Yeah.
Yeah. And um, do you know Natasha Smith?
Mm-mm.
So I had another interview with her, and I'll put a link of that in the show
Okay.
notes. So she had multiple family members that died. Just one that she watched her brother be shot and whatever. But she does
Mm-hmm.
her whole books and podcasts are on grief. But hers is like, will you just sit with me?
Yeah.
You don't have to say anything. You
Mm-hmm.
just have to be there
Yeah.
and know that somebody's there. You don't
Yes.
have to clean my house. You don't have to do anything. Just be there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So, tell me what that was like for your daughter.
Oh, yes, my daughter. She loved her brother. And I found, well, one of the chapters I wrote is called Grief Would Be Easier If It Was Just Me. Because as we know, everybody grieves differently in a home. And after Sebastian died, I wanted to get rid of all of his clothes right away. My husband didn't want to go in his bedroom and look at the clothes. And my daughter wanted to wear all of his clothes.
Oh.
And so very, and she did. She still wears his clothes. Um, it was hard for her. She got married like 6 months after her brother died. She was already engaged. She wasn't engaged. Her now husband came to meet Sebastian. And the night that Brennan came to our house, that's the night Sebastian died. So Brennan never got to meet his brother-in-law, his future brother-in-law. And so I just remember his character and I was like, wow, this is a good man. Because I'm like, I don't know how to take care of him. I have to take care of all this stuff and I have this person in my house who I don't know. Um, but the way my daughter dealt with it, I mean, she did get married, in 6 months. And I know a lot of that, well, it's because she loved Brennan, but a
Right.
lot of it because she was missing her brother. And this was a way, I think, to help with that. And she knows, we talked about it, because I was like, I asked her not to get married. I wanted her to wait at least a year for some, and she's like, no, I can't wait. And um, so that was really hard for all of us. I mean, it was a beautiful wedding. She got married in the Columbia River Gorge, and she's been
Um,
married almost 9 years now. So they're doing well, praise God. You know,
yeah.
so they are. And then she and her husband, they went to New Zealand to work with Youth with a Mission, YWAM,
Yeah.
and served there. And I think that was just helpful for their marriage to be together in another place. It's like a new beginning for her. She was surrounded by other like-minded believers and doing ministry there. And so that was really helpful for her. But she's still, she still struggles, as we all do. And it was really sweet. She made this beautiful playlist, as she called it, Sebastian songs on Spotify. And they were just songs that reminded her of her brother. And it's now like 6 hours long. And so she plays it all the time. She shared it with me. And so it's so sweet. And she goes like, this is when we were playing Nintendo, and this is when
Oh,
so she has sweet memories of her brother that way. And in fact, one of the the resources that I have is a playlist that goes along with the book. And Isabel actually provided all the songs
Oh,
for the playlist that accompanies the book. Yeah.
yeah. Some
Hmm.
of those would be great ones to have for trailers, book trailer.
Oh, yes. That's what I'm going to use them for. Yeah. Mhm.
Tell me where or how God was with you throughout this.
Well, like I said, like I was in that tunnel and I just knew he was there with me. I remember, so before my son died, there was this very, I mean, some people might not think this, but I hear God speak to me, in specific ways. And when Sebastian was 14, I remember I was walking on the beach down by Cannon Beach and on the Oregon coast, and I just heard the Lord say, "Are you willing to lay Sebastian on the altar?" And I was like, it came out of nowhere. So I'm like, this has got to be from the Lord. And I just remember asking God, well, what if you don't give him back? And he said, you just have to trust me. And so that was the end of that. But I, always held that close to my heart. What does that mean? What does that mean? I thought it meant something to do with Sebastian, and it did. And then when Sebastian died, I remembered that vision, that not vision, but that voice from the Lord. And I was like, oh, it wasn't about Sebastian at all. It was about me trusting you for whatever happens to Sebastian. And I took that to heart. And I'm like, okay, I have to trust you through this. And so I can honestly say that I could not have gotten through this without the Lord in my life. And did I want to read my Bible and do that? No, but I would just listen to my Bible every day. I would take a walk every day and just listen to as like the daily Bible app. And then I went through the Bible like 7 years in a row, just listening. And sometimes I heard things, sometimes I didn't, I'm like, but I just know I was bathing my mind with God's word. And so I just like, okay, Lord, you can do this. You can do this. And so I did that. Um, and then, um, but but I just sense God's closest to me, and especially with my relationship with my husband too. We just both had to. We were intentional about we've got to keep our hearts on Jesus and keep praying with him. And we tried to pray every day, and we made ourselves go to church every day. And I just cry every time I went to church. And but it was like a lot of times it was going through the motions, but I was just trusting that it was going to get me through, and it did, and it does.
Mhm.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. It's where you go back and you can find, once you're far enough beyond it, and you can
Hmm.
actually start seeing certain promises. There are things that are in scripture that just kind of go, oh,
Oh,
yeah, okay, yeah,
I lived in the Psalms, and I would just
right.
read. Yeah, I mean, because oh my gosh, the Psalms are filled with laments and anger and frustration and grief and sorrow and joy and it's like David's Psalms are like, okay, those are gut wrenching, and I get them now. You know, he said, "Where
Yeah,
can I go from your spirit? Where can I go?" And he's just like, he is with us the whole time. And even when I'm in the deepest pits, one of my favorite Psalms where it talks about how the Lord reached down from on high and he drew me out of deep waters, out of the deep pit. He said, because he delights in me. I'm like, yeah, he delights in me. Yeah.
that's enough to bring tears to your eyes.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Hmm.
He calls me by name. He sings
Yes, he
over
did.
you.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
All of those. But yeah, the Book of Lamentations, Habakkuk, even
Oh,
in
yeah.
wilderness time,
Hmm.
he's gonna restore, it just, yeah, it's
It's all there. Yeah.
all
Hmm.
there. It's all there. What's the biggest thing that you hope people will gain from your book?
What there's few things. Well, the big thing that for moms that are reading this book is that they see that there is hope even after such a trauma, after such a tragedy of losing a child by suicide. I have seen over the years in my suicide support groups and other ones, it's like year 7, year 5, they can't get past it. We get stuck. I think a lot of times our identity becomes our dead child. And I want moms to know that there is hope beyond that, that they don't have to be held hostage by something that, happened to their child, that we can move forward, that we can have a great life despite such a tragedy, and that we know that God is with us. And that it doesn't mean we've forgotten our child, because I have no way I forget my son. But I also know that one, he's good. He he loved Jesus, and he's with Jesus. He's healed and whole, and he's having a great time. I'm kind of mad at him for that. No, because he's doing good. I'm stuck here. But so that's one thing. But I do want moms to know that there is hope, and that there is life to still be living while we're here on this earth, and not to be stuck. The other thing is to give it as a tool for other people that want to know how to help someone who's lost a child to suicide, and give them, even just to be able to give. I can give you this book. There's a section in the back of what to say, how you can help, what things that are how to be present in people's lives, and to know that this isn't a short fix, that this is something that's going to be going on for a while. It's not a 1 year and done. And then also the other thing, I want people to realize that suicidal grief, even statistically, shows it takes a lot longer to to recover. I don't want to say recover, but to feel normal again, like a new normal. It takes like 5 to 7 years after any type of tragic loss like that. And then so when people are like, "Well, how come you're not over this?" It's like, because it's hard. It is not something you can get over. I was telling Steve, my husband, is like year seven, I was like, "Oh, I feel really good now." I mean, but it took 7 years. And it was almost like I called it my year of Jubilee. When you talk in the Bible, I talk about the 7 years, and you put your ear to rest. I'm like, oh, it's time to rest after all of this. And it was a very spiritual significance. It's like, wow, this is my year of Jubilee. And so I just felt like there was a peace that I hadn't had in such a long time. And I just think it just, because it does take so long, and I still miss my son on all the holidays. And I mean, right now I miss my son during World Cup because he's a big soccer fan. And I'm like, I can't talk to Sebastian about this. But it's, you know, you live and live. But yeah, so I think those are the key things, what I want people to see from the book. And also, give them tools about how to survive the holidays, how to survive the first anniversary, the first Mother's Day, and that it's okay to lament and mourn. Because our culture in the United States, we're not very good at allowing people to mourn the way we want to mourn. There's like some unspoken thing that you should be like, your year one, you should be done. And why are you still crying? It's like, if you haven't been through it, you can't, you
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah.
There's no timeline for grief.
No.
Everyone
Mm-mm.
has their own timeline, and it doesn't matter. You know,
Yeah.
it doesn't
Hmm.
matter how long it takes you and where you're at with it. And you can be okay 6 months, 8 months, year,
Yeah.
whatever. And then all of a sudden something happens, or you see somebody
Hmm.
who looks like them and you're falling apart again, and you go,
I called it
I
like the
thought I was
first.
over that.
Yeah. I used to say it's like living in it's like after such a suicidal loss, it's like, or any type of tragic loss, it's like you're hit by a tsunami, and the tsunami hits you, and then finally when everything gets pulled back, the water recedes, all there is debris and disaster, and just it's muck, and then you got to work your way out of it, and it takes time, and then it's like then the water comes back and you just feel like you're drowning all the time, and then it's like, oh, then you start doggy paddling, and it's like, oh, I get my head's above water, and then you get hit by another one, and now it's like breaststroking, and every once in a while you get hit by a wave, but it just it just gets better and better, and it's like, okay, and then but every once those waves come, but not as horrifically as they were before. Yeah.
Yeah. Are
Hmm.
there certain things you've seen with, I guess particularly mothers, but in your grief groups or anything that have been the things that have held them back, 5 years or longer or whatever? is it an identity? Is it a guilt? Is it what kind of things is there a pattern to things I'm asking?
Yeah, well, what I have seen, a lot of it is, I think there's a fear of moving on. And if I don't remember my son for him, nobody else will. And it's almost, I see that a lot. I also see um, it does become our identity. Our dead child is our identity. It's who we are. I'm a mother of a child who died by suicide. And there is something about that because you do get sympathy, you do get, there is that. But I also think it stunts us from moving forward from what God has for us. So I do see that. I have seen that. And like, I'm a grief share leader. And so seeing people getting stuck or just afraid, it's afraid to know if I let go, what's going to happen? What's the worst thing that's going to happen? And we find when you let go, you're okay because God has us, you know, and it's hard to let go and to let God. There is something to be said by that, right? The letting go and letting God and and realizing I'm not in control. I never was in control. And a lot of it is, letting go of that control and that
Mhm.
the stubbornness, the pride, it's all there,
Yeah. And I
Mhm.
think like you kind of alluded to, there's different voices that tell us who and how we're supposed to be.
Right.
Like
Yes.
even as a mother, how was I supposed to, I should have, been this kind
Hmm.
of mom and or, whatever it is. But you hear these voices that are really lies, you know,
Right.
that are trying to define you or to tell you what direction you're supposed to be going in and what,
Right.
you know.
Hmm. Yeah. But I did see that a lot too, or people would say, oh, you should try this or do this, or, and it's just, I just had to keep my eyes on Jesus. That's what I
Smile
know.
and nod.
Yep. And a lot of times there's that term about faking it till you make it. That is so true too. Sometimes you just go through the motions of the day. I mean, I got up, I exercised every day. Did I want to? No. I read my Bible or listened to my Bible. I did all those things. Oh yeah, I couldn't do it. I mean, I couldn't do it on my own. I had to do it with Jesus only. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Huh. Wow. Where can people find your book?
Well, right now, two places. Well, if you go on my website, jackiembaker.com, there's a link that'll give you, you can click the link and then it'll get you to to Amazon. And then there's hardback, Kindle, and softcover there. If you order from my website, if you go, I do have some companion pieces that come along with the book. So if you order the book and you send me an email, there's a little link that says, "Hey, I ordered the book." Then I have some free companion. I call them resources.
Yeah.
One is a chapter, uh, like a chapter by chapter journal that goes along with it, asking questions. I also have the music, the Spotify downloads. There's a 30-day devotional of Psalms of Lament
Uh,
that is available, which is really helpful. Just it takes a different psalm and it just asks different questions for you if you want to do that. And then I also have a handout for like a one pager. It's like how you can help and what can hurt. And it's like a mom can give it to somebody and say, "This is what I need." And so it just gives her that. And then I also have six, it's like they're pre-filled out form, or like you fill them out, but like surviving the first handout. So like if Christmas is coming
mm,
and we dread those holidays, and this is just a little checklist of things you can do, like or don't have to do. And it's just kind of nice, like who are my safe people? Who can how can I plan? How do I want to spend this day? What can I do? Who are my support people? And, and just giving yourself some freedom to do the things you need to do to get through those days.
yeah.
Because those are the hardest parts, I think, for mom is surviving those first. Oh my, I dreaded
Their
Christmas.
birthdays.
Oh, yes. Birthday. I was even surprised July 4th was hard because I'm like, oh, I could get through July 4th. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I couldn't, without, yeah, it was hard too. It's like little Halloween, who knew, right? But there's so many memories in that, and depending on what your traditions are, and but it's just a helpful guideline. I always say you just need to make plans, even though we don't want to, but somebody needs to make a plan to help you get through that. Otherwise, it's just, it just makes it harder, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what I've discovered too is the anticipation of the day is actually more difficult than the day itself. It's like riding a roller coaster when you're waiting in line and you're anticipating, and then you're like, the closer you get, the more anxious you get. And then when you get on the ride and you're like, oh, that wasn't so bad. You know, it's kind of like a, you know.
Have you have you created like something special that you do every on the anniversary of his death?
We do, yes. So I'm a planner, and what I needed to do something on the anniversary. I couldn't be home. I had to be away from home, and so our first year we went to Disneyland. We went to the happiest place on earth. And then, yeah, we were fine until we saw the little Jedis in training, and we just burst out crying because my son was that loved the, Star Wars. And so, but we're in Disneyland, so we cried and we had it was great. And so then every year after that, we've gone to New Zealand, we've gone to Glacier, we've gone to London,
Mm.
we've gone to this year we're going to Tombstone, Arizona to go to a cowboy town on the anniversary. So now it's become like a tradition. We just know in September we're going to go travel. And so what became dreadful has now become a lot of fun. And
Yeah.
then and my daughter I always want to make sure that do you want to be together? And we're always together on the anniversary. So wherever we are, whoever needs can't come, we go to them. So it works out really great. Yeah. I'm glad we can do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I think that would be, I would think that's a way to preserve, you know,
Yes.
that
And
time
we
that's
talk and
special and
laugh and
mhm,
cry. The stories are sweeter now.
mhm.
I think the early days it was hard to see past what Sebastian had done. And then now it's like, oh, remember who he was.
Mhm.
And it's more sweet. Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah. So if someone found you on your Substack, what do you have to share on your Substack?
On my Substack right now, I'm writing about grief. A lot of the essays, parts of them are in the book as well. So if they want a preview, but mostly I write yeah, about grief and loss and identity. My most recent article was I just found out my father had died 2 years ago. So I was estranged from my father. But what that grief was like, I'm just like, nobody told me. And so it's called an obituary for an absent father. So I write about different types of grief and, but just stories of, I'm a storyteller. I love to tell stories and that people I think can resonate with. And, I always say I write about hard things. I wish I could write about fun things, but I tend to write about, and that's okay. I'm like, all right. But there's funny things in those stories too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
very real. They're very me.
Uh, this has just been a blessing to spend time with you, Jackie.
Yeah.
I'll be happy to get all those links in the show notes for that. And um, yeah, and I'll put the links to your other episodes in there.
Oh
So
yeah,
if you
please
want to go
do.
back and
Yeah.
find the rest
hmm
of the stories.
I know. I'm getting ready to post a Substack about the World Cup and grief, about missing my boy during the World Cup and wishing I could talk to him about Germany being a bully and, why, or who is doing, what, so,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, even 9 years later, it's like, okay, all right, Lord, still writing about, the grief story, but it's more precious and fun now, if that makes sense.
Well, you can laugh now.
Oh, totally can laugh about it. Yeah. Whereas before we couldn't laugh, and now it's like, okay, we can laugh. Other people won't get it, but that's okay. You know.
That's okay. Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure. Yeah. Okay.